Hi everyone, welcome to Red Fox Sewing and Crafting, and welcome to my craft room. I'm Joanna. Today we are continuing our little series making the booklet cover album. We are working on the pages, and this is going to be page 1. We're starting with page 1. You need one piece that is 7 by 7, 6 pieces that are half by 7, and 2 pieces that are 8 by 4.5. And I already covered my 7 by 7 and my half by 7s. We are going to start with this. So put your two 4.5 by 8s to the side for now. This is going to become a basket weave photo mat. So you can tuck in pictures like a ribbon. We're going to start with the horizontal ones, and the first one, let me first find my ruler real quick. The first one is going to be 1/2 inch away from the edge of the paper. So it's going to end up looking like this. So if you want something on here to be visible, you're going to want to put it in the top right corner of it. So that's why I chose this paper, because all of it is in one corner, and then this is plain. So we're going to start with, you just want to glue the top and the bottom. Again, this is going to be 1/2 inch away from the edge. Just like this. Our other two pieces, horizontal pieces, are going to be 1/4 inch spacing. So I'm going to grab the second one, add glue to the top and the bottom, and then 1/4 inch away from the first one. Just like so. And then we're just going to move the ruler one more time. Again, 1/4 inch spacing. And stick this right down, just like so. So our verticals are done. Now we are going to want, I believe it's, yeah. So it's going to be, 1 inch spacing. So I'm just going to line up my ruler with the bottom of my page. Actually, first off, I'm going to weave this in. So you can start weaving it whichever way. With this one, I started it under, then over, then under. Under, over, and under. And now we can line up our ruler on here. Just like so. And I'm going to scooch this over a little bit to get this end. Then stick it down. And then we can add glue to this side. Just going to check really quick to make sure that's lined up. Yep, it's pretty good. And then the next two are going to be 1/4 inch spacing. So again, I'm just going to weave this through really quick. I'm going to add a little bit of glue. And then I'm just going to line up my ruler. And stick it down. And then glue this side and stick it down. And then our last piece, just going to weave this through, just like so. Add glue to this side. Line my ruler up really quick. Stick this side down. And then add glue to this side and stick it down. And there's the basket weave mat. And it's really straightforward. So we can set this off to the side, let it dry a little bit more, make sure nothing shifts. And we can work on our two 4.5 by 8 pieces. So get your scoreboard out, and on both these pieces we are going to put the 4.5 inches at the top, and we are going to score at half. Storm and Dakota! So now just fold and burnish on your score marks. And then we're going to miter our corners. Now you want to grab your album out, and we want page 1, and we are going to dry fit this. That just means lining it up a little bit away from the edge of the page on the hinge side, and then right along the edge on the opposite side, and seeing if you have any overlap. If you do, you just need to trim a tiny bit off. I do, so I'm just going to trim just a teensy weensy bit off. And I'm going to actually put this one on first and then dry fit again with the other one. If need be, I can cut the other one a little bit more. So this one is going to go on the hinge side. And because we put our pages all the way down to the base of the hinge, you want to leave a tiny, tiny bit of spacing on your hinge. So just like that. You might not see it, but it's like really small, like a 1/16 of an inch. And now that this one is put on, I'm going to line this one up with the edge, and this one needs to be trimmed just a little bit. Going to see if I can straighten it up a tad bit. My page is going to be off. There we go. That should work. There we go. Now, if you do have a gap, that is perfectly okay. Sometimes that happens to me. And it is kind of good because sometimes I don't remember what I did. So having that little gap reminds me that I have flaps there. It's a nice little surprise for myself. This is just going to go right on the edge of this side, just like so. And now we need to mark this 1/2 inch all the way around, because we need to add magnets to this page. So I'm just going to do a quick run around the perimeter of this. And then we're going to enter magnets. So you want 4 pairs of magnets for this. 1 pair on each corner. I'm going to start with placing the magnets let's start with placing them on here, on the flaps. So you want to kind of go towards the edge a little bit, but not too far that when you put your mat on, they'll be visible close to the edge. And then a little bit more score tape. For the other magnets. I'm just going to put one on each of these magnets. And then I can place my score tape underneath. And now that I have my magnets on, I can carefully line up my mat along the lines that I made as best I can, and then just press down around the magnets to stick the score tape on the back. And if you did it right, here we go. Sometimes you need to put a little bit more pressure on. But if you did it right, you'll have magnets on the back of your mat, and then it'll keep your flap closed. So that was page 1. Pages 2 and 3, you need to cover with pattern paper first before we do anything. So for page 2, you will need 3 pieces that are 7 by 7. One of these you are going to set off to the side for now, and then the other 2 you are going to score at 1/2 inch and 4. Again, you want to score at 1/2 inch and at 4. And then you want to fold and burnish these. And then we are going to miter the corners on our tabs. So you do need the tab and the flap going in opposite directions. Want them on different sides of the centerpiece. So I just folded my tab to the back. Before we attach these two to the base, we need to do a little cutting here. So I'm going to take my flap here And actually I'm going, no, I'm not. I'm going to use my pencil. So you want to measure 3/4 of an inch away from the score mark, from the fold, on both sides. Like that. And then on this side, you want to measure 1.5 inches away from the edge. And you want to do that to both of these. So 3/4 of an inch from the fold, just like this. And then from the corner, you want to mark 1.5 inches. And then you are going to take your paper trimmer, line up your 2 marks, and you're just going to cut the corners off. And then it'll look like this. Now we can take our erasers and just erase our markings. Okay, so to attach this, your flaps are going to go like this, okay? So the tabs are going to go underneath the base. So I'm going to add some score tape on the inside of the tabs. And then, oops, if I can get the backing off without ripping my flap apart, that would be nice. And we're just going to add some glue here. And we're going to attach the base to our flap, our flap, making sure the tab goes on the bottom of our base, just like that. And then the other one is going to go on this side. And then it's going to look like this. To close it, we are going to use some ribbon. And I have a piece of ribbon here. This is 24, 36, 46. So, yeah. This might be a little bit long, but I'm going to use it. So, we are going to attach our ribbon to the back of our piece before we add it onto the base page. So I'm just going to add some score tape, line up on my mat, and then take my ribbon and center it on the back, just like so. And then I can take a little bit more score tape and my handy dandy finishing tool and just add a little bit more score tape to make sure that it will stay on the base page. This is 7 inches. It's 7 inches. So just like the mat on page 1, you are going to have 1/2 inch spacing around this flap piece on page 2. I'm just tying this really quick so that my ribbon doesn't get in the way when I attach it to my page. We have page 2. We have this. I'm going to grab a ruler here. And we can add this to our album. And here is page 2. On to page 3. For that, you will need 2 pieces that are 6 by 11 and 1 piece that is 6 by 10. And all 3 of these pieces, you want the longer side at the top, and we're going to score them at 5 inches. And then we are going to fold and burnish on our score marks. You want to do your best to make sure that these are even. So this is going to be a waterfall. You want to start with one of your 6x11s, and you want to turn it over so that the 6 is facing up and your 5 is on your table, okay? You are going to take your second 6x11 piece, and you want to add glue to just the 5x6 inch section. Just like this, okay? Now we're going to take this and we are going to glue this at the bottom of the 6x6 piece. 6x6 side of the first piece. Just like this. So when you close this up, you should have your 5x6 here, and then your 6x6 and 5x6 attached here, and then your second 6x6 here. And then when you close it, you should have a 1x6 inch strip at the top. Now we're going to take our 5x5, 5x10, 6x10, 6x10, and we're going to put glue on just one of the 6x5s. Just like this. And then we are going to attach this to the previous 6x5 piece, or no, 6x6. Just like this. So, once you have it put together, it should be 5 inches, 6 inches, 5 inches, 6 inches, 5 inches, and 5 inches. And then when you close it up, you should have 1 inch, 1 inch, 5 inches. To attach this, we are going to so this is 7 inches. This is a 6x7. So you want 1 inch on the top and the bottom and ½ inch on the sides. There's page 3. And you just kind of lock it like that. Page 4. You want for page 4, you want one piece that is 7.5 by 9 and one piece that is 7.5 by 12. Going to do the 7.5 by 12 really quick. You want the 12 inches at the top, and we're going to score this at 5 1/4. Grab your 7.5 by 9, and starting with the 9 inches at the top, going to score it ½ inch, rotate it, score it ½ inch, rotate it, score it ½ inch. Going to fold and burnish on all of our score marks. And then we are going to miter the top two corners on our 7.5 by 9. And then on the bottom two corners, we are going to miter the squares out, just like this. To attach our pocket here, I'm going to start with the bottom. And we are going to put this slightly above the base of our our hinge. Just because we don't want it to interfere with it. Just like that, okay? And then I'm going to take some tape here. This is special archival tape. And I'm going to put it over the tab. Just like that. And then the two sides can get put down. And here's your pocket. Now we can take our 7.5 by 12 and just stick it in the pocket like so. Now, if you notice, this flaps around and our waterfall flaps around. To keep this from happening, I have come up with a nifty little holder. To make this special closure, you need a paper clip and one piece of cardstock that is 1.5 by 5, one piece that is 1 3/8 by 4.5. So we are going to take these two pieces here and we're going to score them down the center. So on the 1.5 by 5, you want the 5 inches at the top, and we're going to score at 2.5. And then with the 1 3/8 by 4.5, we are going to put the 4.5 at the top and score at 2.25. And before we put this together, you will need to cover the outside, both sections of the outside pieces in pattern paper. I will do that really quickly and then I will be back to show you how to put it together. So now that I have my two pieces covered, I can put it together. The bottom paper isn't going to show all the way around. It's just going to show at the bottom two edges with this size. But if you wanted to see more of the bottom paper, you can make this one a little bit wider if you wanted to. So to make this closure, you want to put your paperclip on the larger piece like this, okay? And then we are going to add glue all the way around. If you wanted to, you could actually just put glue on the back of this. And then you want to center your outside piece on your bottom piece as best you can. Just like so. And then just stick it down all around. And there's your covered paperclip. To put this on, what we're going to do is go to pages 3 and 4, and then you want to hold your waterfall and your mat. And then just slightly open the centerpiece like this, and then you can just slide it on. Page 5, you will need your base page covered. To make it, you will need a piece that is 7 7/8 by 8, and an optional piece. This is 3/4 by 7 7/8. So on your 7 7/8 by 8, you want the 8 inches at the top, and we are going to score at 3.5 and 4.5. Really simple. Fold and burnish on your 2 score marks. Then I'm going to fold the other direction. Just so that it's easier to fold. And then you want your album. So you're going to put glue on the center 1-inch section all the way down. And then we are going to line this up with the bottom, top, and well, could just match it up with your pattern paper. That works. So match it up with the bottom and the top, and then match it with the sides of your pattern paper. You want to make sure that you get a nice, good stick. So I'm going to burnish this really good. I did make a minor mistake, but it's easily fixable. All I need are some add-ons. Just have to decide what I want to use. You know what? I think I'm going to use my little gnomes. So I'm going to cut my 2 gnomes out, and then I will be back. So I have my little gnomes cut out, and I rounded the corners. We need a way to keep these 2 flaps closed. And to do that, we're using magnets. Again, I forgot to put the magnets on the base page before I put my pattern paper down. But I can just cover them up with my gnomes. So I'm going to put my little magnets on the back of my gnomes and just make them little tuck spots. So to do that, I'm just going to attach one of my magnets on the back like this. Add some glue a little past my magnet so that'll attach to my page. And then I'm going to center my little gnome on my page. I need to scoot my ruler down so that I can get it centered as best as I can. Just like that. Then just kind of stick them down. And then these little tuck spots. So I can put some small things in there. And then I could just add my second magnet on my top flap, on the top of my flap. Just like that. I'm gonna do the same thing with my second gnome here, except I'm putting my magnet on the bottom. Just like this. Little glue above so I can make him a tuck spot. Get my ruler out. Line him up. Another tuck spot, and then my second magnet can go right on top of my flap here. And problem solved. Got my little gnome tuck spots. So that is how you'll put it together just normally. And covered pattern paper, it will look like this. Okay, got two flaps just like this. If you want a belly band in the center, you will need the 3/4 by 7 7/8, and then you will need to cover your center section with paper. Once you have the center one section covered in your pattern paper, we're going to take your belly band and glue to either end and place it right in the center. Just like that. It'll give you some extra space to put more stuff in. And then you have these two cigarette flaps here. I hope you enjoyed part 2 of working on this album. If you did, hit the like button down below. If you want to see more, hit subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.